Today I want to interview you about your value and communication style, and I'm going to use this information for a project that I'm doing in my business and communication class. In our
Okay.
project, we have to compare the value and the communication style from another country to Thai, and then examine how this might cause problem in travel industry. And the interview will take only about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay,
Okay.
let's begin.
Okay.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Waymin Lin, and nickname Jordan. And I'm majoring here in the MUIC in marketing major, and I'm Taiwanese. And um, what else do you need to know? Like personal information. Sports. Back in high school, I used to play a lot of sports such as swimming, soccer, basketball, American football, like all the sports you can just imagine. But when I entered university, due to the time problems, I can only choose the best sport that I love the most, which is basketball. The term value, that's a very good question. Value for me, I think it's more or less about like the personality of each person. A good personality would determine a very good value of you, which means that you can contribute a lot to this society here. The value that I just mentioned, of course, I think most basically it's from our parents, and the university here in the MUIC actually taught us a lot about ethical stuff and knowledge, and of course like the basic principle. What my parents taught me as well is if you have to treat the others like the way you want them to treat you as well. Oh, the way my parents treat me. I think basically just like what I mentioned earlier, like the most important thing is that they want me to, treat the others like the way you want them to treat you as well. It's like I think most probably like the most important things that I have learned from my parents. Inequality in terms of uh, okay, like I think like in terms of rich and poor, I think that's acceptable for me because rich and poor actually they owns what they have in that status of the society. Because people who are rich actually means that they work hard in order to get rich. You don't get rich just by being lazy and stuff, but you get poor maybe sometimes just because you're lazy or you don't get the opportunity to get rich yet. But at the end, if you continue to work hard all the time, you eventually get to the goal that you want. In MUIC, actually, I think the way I learned, the attitude actually changed a bit due to the society years. Like back in high school, I learned in international school. So basically, if students are confused or like the teachers actually teach something that they don't really get it, they will just, you can say the word attack, like attack the teacher right away, like or like doubting whether it's true or not. But here, I think it's due to the society, but like sometimes it make me kind of nervous. Like, I don't know whether should I raise my hand to ask the questions or not because none of the class asked. Yeah. For this, I think it actually goes both ways because we use what we taught from the teachers here in MUIC, right? We use that as our basic, but after that, I'll try to adopt in my way with the correct guidelines that Ajahn or like teachers here offer. For me, I think I'm more or less like a person that actually follow the rules more than breaking the rules instead. But then sometimes it actually depends on the situations. If I know the consequences of breaking the rules is not that like deep or not that harsh, I might break the rules just to get a better results. For me, I think change it's actually should be good though. Like in our life, like we have at least like 100 years to live on, and then if things just stay the way it is all the time, it might get bored. But then, of course, like it depends on like which position are you looking at. Like if it's, you know, love sides, of course, everybody wishes to stay stable, right? Yeah, so but then on the other hand, like if it's about business and stuff, like I always like new challenges instead. Playing sports. I think that's actually a very big gap from the question that you previously asked. But anyway, just like what I mentioned earlier, of course it's basketball. Like throughout all the sports I play, and then for most of the people, including myself, of course, winning is the main purpose out there. And then basically there's another point. Like maybe it's due to like now I'm like year 3, year 4. When I was in year 1, year 2, it was more of like I just want to win the game. But then year 3, year 4, there are more and more pressures about like graduating and everything else. So playing basketball become a way that I release all the pressures after the whole day's hard-working task. Of losing, I think, of course, like nobody can take like losing or like making mistakes and stupid things that actually make you fail from your goal. But then again, like I think losing for me it's actually a good thing because you learn from your mistakes and you learn from your like games or like attitudes. If you win all the time, maybe sometimes you become ego or like you don't even care about how other people feel. But if you fail, you start to know and you learn from that step and you carry on. For me, definitely, I like to work with a lot of people, like friends and stuff. That's probably like one of the main reasons that I choose marketing as well. Because marketing, we have a lot of reports to work on, and then it's not individual work like IB or finance and stuff. And then I always like to like know new people, and then by the time that I get to know them more, and then we can share information together as well. Oh, well, it actually depends on where I walk. If I walk on the basketball court, it's something that I'm good at it, so I can be confident. But then if it's in class or like some of the subjects that I'm not really, that into it, so sometimes I might get a bit, not that much of confidence when I walk into the class or like when there's a friend asking me questions and stuff, I might get panicked because I don't even know the answers myself. I'll just tell them directly that you have to go and ask someone else. Even though I look like I'm focusing, but then I don't get it. What's the content of the teacher's teaching? Yeah. Over here in MBIC, like there's actually like quite different compared to like my hometown, which is Taiwan. But then like over here, I think basically like when you're talking to the other like your friends and stuff, and then when you start to see their eyes are not looking at you or their heads are like always turned to the other side, it means that it actually shows that they're not interested or they don't get the thing about what you're talking about. For me, I'm a person who actually goes straight, like a very direct person. So in this question, yeah, I usually when I have conflict with friends and stuff, I will just approach to them and ask them about, hey, like what's going on, like what happened, what's wrong. Like if there's something goes wrong, just tell me directly. Like do not ever, like the person that I hate the most is backstab. Like you always give me a happy face, and then after that, when you go and talk with a friend of mine or someone else, and then you start to say, mumbling stuff like, which it doesn't make sense for me at all. So you should just come to me directly. Of course, I think written communication over here, it should be in a written form only in terms of, if it's in marketing, BBA, like in the companies, between two main companies, when you have the common points, it's very important that you need to have a written form. You can't just based on verbal. Like verbal, it's only during the process of you negotiating the list of what you need and the formal forms. But then when you have everything listed, you have to write it down. So if something goes wrong, you have evidence to show the other side that this is what we have agreed, and then now you break the rules, take the consequences. I know here in Thailand, this is the funny part. Like, I know here in Thailand, like, when I interrupt the others, their face usually doesn't look good. But in Taiwan, when you how do you say it? Like you cut or you interact, actually it shows that you are interested in what they're saying, and then you wanted to interact with them more. But then over here, at first I had a small problems like with my friends back in high school as well, because I just talk whenever I want to talk, and then it happens like some of the friends they don't like it, and then it's very good that they actually come approach me directly like, hey Jordan, you can't just do that in Thai culture here. So which I think is good, and then I learn from time to time. This is like, I think in Taiwan or like anywhere else, especially in Asian Asian zones, like it's very important. It depends on if you're talking to the elders, or you're talking with your friends, or you're talking with your business partner. If you're talking about your business partner, because we're a business communication interview here. So I think it's very important that you have to show your politeness according from listening to what they say first, and then response afterwards. Do not just listen and then when they're like, and your face is still. So you have to respond right away and make sure the communications carry on up until you meet. My emotions. That's a very interesting question. I think, just like what I mentioned earlier, I'm a type of person who go directly, right? So usually, if something happens during a meeting or during a point of where we get to sit together, like a meal and stuff, if I see something I dislike, just because usually I'm a person who talk a lot, and in a very high value as well. So most of my friends know that that's my normal status. But if I start to go silent in the middle of nowhere, then they recognize right away that I'm getting pissed about something. So since I'm a direct person, so most of my friends are direct as well. So they will ask me directly, like, Jordan, what happened? Like, what's wrong? So it's easy for me to express the feeling right away, instead of keep the feeling all the way through up until like the very end. Yeah. Of course, usually I don't just stand up and what the what the x. Okay. Anyway. In my culture in Taiwan, like this is actually a very, very important point in Taiwan. We usually we talk loud, and then that's the international image of Chinese or Taiwanese. But when we are talking with our elders or people who's older than us, usually you cannot sit or like stand still like in the bench. Or if they are standing, you should ask them to sit in a polite way. And then if there's one seat left, ask them to sit, and then you might have to stand. Or and then whatever they talk, you can only listen. Do not tell them about what I think or what I think is right. Because no matter what, in Taiwan, the more older you are, the more experience you have. So whatever they say, it's according to their experience. So they actually learn from what they learn more than what we have. So we can only listen and do not just follow the rules and then follow what they say. I think in Thailand you have this word called, what's that? Kreng chai, right? Yeah. I think in Taiwan, in most of the Asian countries, you have this kind of common point. Everybody is when you're thirsty, people ask you, you don't really express the feelings. But for me, like since we're more international, and then I will usually just tell them that I'm thirsty. Can I have a couple of drinks, if possible? In a very nice way, of course, not just like treat that place like my home. Is it hot in here? You mean the female ads or the male ads? No, anyway. Is it hot in here? Of course, like usually you go. The direct intention of this is about the aircon, right? Whether should they open the aircon or not. And I think depending if it's a female or male. If it's a female, of course, the intention is saying that they're getting cold. Maybe we have to close the air cons and stuff. But if it's a guy, it means that you have to turn on the air con because they're freaking hot at that point in time. I think in Thailand, like most of the people, this is the rules. Like 1 and 2. If 1 is talking, 2 you should stop. Okay, but in Taiwan or in Chinese or in any somewhere around my house, if 1 is talking, 2 should interact by cutting some of the words, whatever that 1 is talking. So it means that they show their interest. But due to the culture difference, and I just moved from Taiwan to Thailand like a few years ago, so I started to know and get along with the culture here by listening to the others, what they want to express their ideas about, and then I will follow up. But when I go back to Taiwan, sometimes when I bring this kind of attitude back, they might think that I'm awkward. Like, why are you not talking to me while I'm talking? And which it actually kind of, at first it bothered me though. Like I don't know, like when and where should I use this kind of culture or that one or this one. But then as time passed by, I think like I'm kind of getting used to it. Like I know when and where to tell or like to use the culture difference.
Well, that's it for the question. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.